Having a single man attend an all-girls school is the simplest way to include the harem trope. The school may be co-ed, or there may be some other reason, but we just can't seem to get enough of this genre. Today we'll be going over our list of top 7 anime where main character goes to an all-girls school or academy. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Number 7, Ladies vs. Butlers. Akiharu has earned his way into a prestigious private school, where he will be a butler in training alongside maids in training. This servant class intermingles with a master class of almost all girls, and one guy, from elite families who might also be prospective future employers for them. To his consternation, Akiharu quickly runs afoul of the school's top 2 students. The proud Selnia Iori Flameheart, whose blonde curls resemble drills, and Tomomi Saikyo, a seemingly sweet girl whose well-mannered demeanor has hidden a truly devilish side since Akiharu's known her in their elementary school days. Add in a roommate who's actually a girl trying to pass as a male butler, an unbelievably clumsy maid in training, a narcissistic pretty boy, and a cuckoo principal, and you have the recipe for all sorts of sexy antics. Number 6, Blade Dance of Elementalers. A fantasy harem anime about groups of powerful fighters. In this world, pure women have the ability to form contracts with elemental spirits, gaining power based off of the spirit they bond with. This is virtually always the case. History has only shown a rare handful of men with this gift. The last such led to catastrophe as this male individual became known as the Demon King and attempted to dominate and destroy the world. As our story begins, we are introduced to our main character who just happens to be a rare, male elementaler. The show centers around the Araishia Spirit Academy, a school where pure maidens learn to become elementalers, that is to say, a magic user who has contracted with an elemental spirit to grant them power, and our protagonists, the male elementaler Kamido, and the harem of young women he seems to collect, much to his chagrin. Number 5, Unlimited Fafnir. Midgar, all-girl academy, would have been notable just for the action of accepting its first and only male student, Yu Mononobe. But Midgar stands out for much more than that. It's a school exclusive to a group of girls known as Ds. Each of them have extremely powerful abilities in generating dark matter and manipulating it into powerful weaponry. The Ds didn't exist 25 years ago, and only appeared after a number of mysterious, destructive monsters known as dragons started appearing around the world. Strangely, just as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished. In their destructive wake, some girls started being born with symbols on their bodies and powers similar in nature to those wielded by the dragons themselves. Now the Ds attend this school, hoping to harness and utilize their powers against the dragons. Yu is their latest member and is extraordinary for being the only known male D in existence. Now he must forge relationships with the girls around him, including his long-separated sister who attends the school as well, and work with them to investigate and eliminate the threat of the powerful dragons. Number 4, Shomin Sample. Shomin Sample is one of those rare eki harems which actually feels genuinely original and refreshing to watch. Not just because the setting is somewhat unusual, but also because its eki elements feel perfectly natural and that it's actually really funny. It's even got a likable harem protagonist for once. Just how rare is that? The idea of having a sheltered all-girls high school for rich young ladies and then letting a lone male student transfer into it is nothing new to the world of anime. But for the ladies to be completely and utterly clueless about how the world of ordinary citizens works, and for them to have a misconception that the protagonist is actually gay and has a serious fetish for muscle men? Yeah, I don't think that one has been done anywhere else before. That is to say, our main character Kamido is one day kidnapped and forced to enroll in the school in order to help the female students to learn how to interact with not only a commoner, but also a person of the opposite gender for the first time. Do not underestimate just how unbelievably ignorant these girls are about how the real world functions. In their eyes, ordering food at McDonald's is equivalent to the second coming of Jesus. That's how disconnected they are from reality in this series, and it's also the main source of the comedy that Shomin Sample has to offer. It's incredibly silly, but that's also what makes it so charming and original. This is also emphasized a lot by the fact that Kamido is, in lack of a better phrasing, quite simply a huge troll. Since the girls are not only clueless, but also about as gullible as it gets, he time and time again tricks them into learning things about commoners which are complete nonsense, and then watches them make fools out of themselves before springing the truth upon them a bit later on. It might be considered rude, but it's done in a very light-hearted and comedic fashion, and it rarely fails to make you laugh as a result. Number 3. Seitokai Yakuindomo. Takatoshi Suda begins his first year in high school, choosing a campus convenient to his house. But what is different is that Asai Private Academy was an all-girls school, and this was the first year for it to go co-ed. That made him an extreme minority. I'm talking 28 guys to more than 500 girls. Awesome for him, right? No, the reality is not what he expected with student council president Shino Amakusa. She installs him in student council without giving him or anyone choice. But that's just the beginning of her defined personality. She, along with other council members, the faculty advisor and other students, are constantly making nearly everything about sex, and basically blaming him as a guy, representing all masculinity. Number 2. Mashiroiro Symphony, The Color of Lovers. The all-girls school called Ueheim Girls Private Academy decided to turn co-ed for one term by accepting students from another school in preparation to its merger. However, the students of Ueheim didn't like that decision and doesn't want students from Kagamidia Private Academy in their school. It's up to Shingo Yuryu to convince the girls to accept them, but the task isn't easy. The only possible solution is to befriend the perfect girl in the academy, Eri Sena, who strongly opposes the merge. It's a tough task, but Shingo is determined. He's determined to even convince Eri to fall in love with him. Number 1. Grisaia no Kujitsu. A peculiar private academy houses just 5 students, all of them having ended up there through extraordinary personal circumstances. The arrival of the school's first male student Yuji Kazami, perhaps the one with the most extreme personal circumstances of all, shakes the environment up. Yuji becomes acquainted with each of them, discovering more about their personalities as socialization is inevitable. Slowly, he begins to learn about the truth behind the small group of students occupying the academy. They each have their own share of traumatic experiences, which are tucked away from the world. Mahama Academy acts as a home for these girls. They are the fruit which fell from their trees and have begun to decay. It is up to Yuji to become the catalyst to save them from themselves. As he gets to know each of the girls, his entrance in their lives might prove to be what they needed to deal with the demons from their past and present, or perhaps the catalyst to their demise.
I'm waiting for the rain. I'm bracing for the thunder. I tweak the wooden sway in the wind.